Okay, so today we are really diving deep into some new music.
Yeah.
And I am so excited to talk about this. I know you've been following this artist for a little while now too, so
I have, yeah.
But yeah, it is Keeno Worldwide.
Yeah.
And it's the Trinity Album. So,
the Trinity Album.
Yeah. So it's his second studio EP. And I think, we talk about artists kind of being the rise and having their moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think this EP is kind of one of those moments for Keeno.
I think so too, yeah.
Where, it's, people are starting to notice.
Yeah. And I think what's really interesting is I think, for a lot of our listeners who are into hip hop, they're always looking for something new and fresh.
Right.
And something that's going to grab them, but also something that's authentic, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to just hear the same old thing rehashed.
Right.
So I think what Keeno's doing here is he's blending contemporary hip hop influences with really authentic storytelling.
And I think you hit it right on the head when you say authentic storytelling. Because I think that's the thing that's, there's a lot of hip hop artists out there, a lot of really good ones.
Sure.
But it's the ones that can tell their story that really resonate with listeners. And that's what I'm feeling here on this EP. Mm-hmm. Now, the review that we're looking at here calls it a blend of contemporary hip hop influences and authentic storytelling.
Yeah.
But I actually think it's more of like a fusion. Like it's not even a blend. It's like they are one.
Totally.
Yeah. Especially when you hear the opening track. And this is another thing. If you are listening to music on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, whatever it is, that first track is so important.
Oh, absolutely. Especially in the age of streaming.
Yeah.
You've got to hook people immediately,
Yeah.
And I think Keeno knows that because he comes out swinging with this track called Bad Bitch.
And the production on that track by BuddahSPK is fire.
BuddahSPK is the truth. Like, honestly, you talk about production that elevates a track. BuddahSPK is one of those guys. His use of these layered melodies is incredible.
I know.
It's like he's creating a whole soundscape.
Yeah.
And then the drums, oh my goodness, the drums, they hit with this raw energy. It's undeniable, you know
what's interesting to me, too, is you look at his production credits, and he's worked with, huge names.
Oh, yeah. Some of the biggest in the industry.
Yeah. So for him to be on all three tracks of this EP, like that's not an accident. That's deliberate. That's intentional.
100%. It's about creating a cohesive sound.
Yeah.
It's about having a unified artistic vision for the entire project.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because it makes you wonder.
Right.
Does that limit the sonic range a little bit?
Well, that's what I'm wondering too.
Yeah.
I think that, it could, but I think in this case, it works.
I think so too. And I think it works because it allows Keeno to really dive deep into his storytelling.
Yeah.
Without having to jump around sonically too much. It's like, if you think about it, like chapters in a book, each track is like a chapter.
Okay.
And each one has its own vibe, but they all contribute to a larger narrative.
Okay. I like that. I like that analogy.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of chapters, there are two tracks on here, Bag of Weed and Hennessy. And I feel like those titles alone tell a story.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Those titles definitely grab your attention.
Yeah.
And, I think that's another thing that Keeno does really well is, in a genre that can sometimes feel very surface level,
right? He's
not afraid to get personal.
Yeah.
And
I think that's what's coming through here is you're right. Like those titles grab your attention, but the stories behind them are deep,
Like in Bag of Weed, he's talking about the hustle, the grind, the realities of coming up, what it takes to make it. But it's not just about the struggle. It's about the immerse, the drive to rise above your circumstances. And then Hennessy, that track hits differently.
Yeah, different vibe for sure.
It's more introspective, He's exploring themes of loss, reflection. There's even a bit of vulnerability in there that you don't always hear in hip hop.
Yeah. And it's not like, there are other artists who have done that really well.
Sure.
But it's just, it feels very raw and very real coming from him.
Yeah.
And I think, one thing that I wanted to touch on too is the production quality on this EP is just phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. The production is top notch.
It's so crisp and clear, and every element, like every little sound is just so meticulously placed.
That's so important, though, because, for discerning listeners, and we know our listeners are discerning, production quality can make or break an album.
Right.
And in this case, it's like the production is amplifying Keeno's message,
Yeah.
Think about Hennessy again. Those subtle piano chords in the background, they add this layer of melancholy.
Right.
That just perfectly matches the lyrical content. That's the power of a good producer.
Yeah, it's like they're painting a sonic picture, right? They're adding to that story. They're not just
exactly
providing a beat.
It's a collaboration. Yeah. It's like a conversation between the artist and the producer.
I like that. Yeah. And, one thing I did notice is, he is really kind of going all in on this.
Oh, yeah.
In the sense that he's got live bookings coming up. He's got merchandise. He's really trying to... Build a brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so smart because in today's music landscape, it's not enough to just release music. Okay. You've got to create a connection with your fans.
Yep.
You've got to build a community. And he's doing a great job of that.
Yeah, he's giving people a way to really experience the music.
Exactly.
Beyond just listening to it.
Beyond the music, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I think for anyone out there sleeping on Keeno Worldwide, I think the Trinity album is a wake-up call.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is a statement.
It's not just another hip-hop EP.
Right.
This is an artist who is really pushing boundaries, blending his own personal narrative with just top-tier production.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, is this a trend we're going to see more of?
Yeah.
Are we going to see more artists embrace this level of raw authenticity?
Right.
Only time will tell, but the Trinity album is definitely a sign of something special brewing.
For sure. Well, great stuff. Yeah. As always. This has been another deep dive, folks. I hope you enjoyed this one as much as we did.
Me too.
And, we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, we'll do some more music.
All right, peace.
All right.
All right, bye.
See ya.